Welcome to MoggyBoxCraft. I'm Deborah and welcome back to my greenhouse and garden. I've got some really exciting updates for you guys, but first I'm going to show you what I filmed on the 9th of June. It's the 9th of June 2020. I've repotted the pumpkins into bigger pots instead of these little ones. I've added some extra supports in for the chilies here, and I've added some bamboo cane support for the sweet peppers. I've given the roses a good bit of support as well now. I've put a little hook in here and a hook in up there. And I have tied a little bit of rope there as well. If we get some more bad weather, the rose will be supported. I've put a bamboo cane in with the Strasmonge too for a bit extra support until it kind of gets to grips with climbing up this frame. I've given the French bean a bit of support as well. The marrow peas in this corner have just taken off. I've given the bramble a bit more support. We already had hooks in the walls up there. I've just added in this extra little bits of rope because it was really starting to trail, but I don't really want to cut anything off it because I want lots of berries, and it does look like... Is that going to be berries? I'm pretty sure that's going to be berries. Or brambles, really. I did cut off a little bit down there just because he was starting to spread a little bit too much, and he is pretty spiky. I've also given this tree... Oh, are you having a fight? What's going on? Someone's angry in that hedge. What are you so angry about? There's enough food for all. I've just filled up all the bird feeders. There is plenty of food to go around, don't you worry. Get you there. Hi. He's having none of it. Anyway, I've also given this tree a good chop back, all under here. I was kind of thinking I might just put lights up, fairy lights. Also, I really want this tree to get taller so we've got more privacy. Hopefully all the energy will now go into the top of this hedge. This is all the chopping I've been doing today. In the garlic, I've noticed these little guys popping up. So I'm going to chop them off. Set onions. When I planted up all these onions were the ones from last year, and I have noticed quite a few of them go into seed here, so I'm going to chop that off. These are the Stugard giant onions next to them, so I don't know if you can sort of see the comparison. These ones are so much higher and these are much lower. These are the old ones from last year that I thought I'd just give a go planting, so I will chop the tops off them, see how we get on. And these ones seem to be doing okay at the moment, so we'll leave them be. So I'll chop all these ends off so they don't go to flower. So I would just show you guys the difference. So these guys are from the garlic and these guys are from the onions. Onions, garlic. So they're all chopped off now, so hopefully more energy will go into producing garlic and onions and not into producing flowers. It's now the 20th of June 2020 and I am sweltering in the greenhouse. We've had some really misty weather this last week. I was hoping to get this filmed earlier, and then today I woke up and it was sunshine, and then it rained and now it's sunshine again, so I'm seizing the moment, or at least the sunshine, and I'm going to show you around what's been happening. Strawberries are coming on really well. I'm really hoping this will turn into lots of strawberries. I think this might be my first runner. Once we get a few runners, I will refill this pot and pot this all up again for next year. So hopefully I'll just be able to take runners off the best fruiting plants. Do bear in mind I'm in Scotland, so of course everything is so much behind. I keep seeing all these lovely strawberries on Instagram and Facebook, and this is probably the best ones I've got so far. But they are ripening, so hopefully it won't be too much longer. Avocado plants are surviving on the decking, only just. I think these guys are a little bit windswept. I think we're going to get a few more marigolds there. This is the Chinese lantern. I think we really need to get him repotted. But he's coming on really good. Hopefully he should be an annual. I have got a few baskets up here on the decking. I think that's a wild strawberry, that's a weed, and I think that might be a garlic chive or a chive. So looking down into the garden, what is going on down in the garden? I can hear scruttling. Hold on. What is going on? What are you doing? What are you digging? Let's put all that back, shall we? I don't know what's going on here, if he's looking for mice. Or we did get new neighbours that have got a couple of dogs and they are like the cutest. So anyway, this is mostly just herbs and flowers up here. I did trim back the mint, those are mint, and down here, and the curry plant, and the rest are all flowers. So they seem to be doing okay. This rose is growing like crazy, so I've moved him over here. Climbing rose over here. I deadheaded all the old roses, chopped them all off. We're getting loads more new roses coming through. Into the greenhouse now. I'm really not sure what to say about this asparagus. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with it. I really need to do a bit more research about that. The tomato plants are coming on an absolute treat. We've got so many flowers. I just really hope they all turn into tomatoes and we get enough heat and sunshine to turn them red. With tomatoes, I am still periodically going through and just pulling out those little side shoots. Everything grows so fast. Just keep an eye on your tomato plants and just pop out any of those side shoots. And that way, as much nutrients will go to the tomato instead of the side shoots. I've also been keeping on top of all the undergrowth under here and all the extra leaves and just making sure there is continually enough airflow. Aubergines down here. I am hopeful that I might get an aubergine. Here's the butternut squash. Squash is looking great. I really hope he's sunny enough down here. Definitely throwing out lots of leaves. I mean, he seems happy enough. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Maybe he was a little bit too dry. Time for more research. The sweet corn seems really happy and it's growing like crazy. So I'm really pleased with the sweet corn this year, and of course because it's in the greenhouse it's not getting battered by the wind and it's staying really upright. I mean, I might have to put supports in later, but little gem lettuce definitely seems burning here. I wonder if it's just a little bit too warm in the greenhouse for this stuff. Nevertheless, you can pick it off and eat it anyway. That's what we're doing. Iceberg lettuce is finally coming good. This is the stage where you can still start munching away in this, much like all the snails and slugs. Winter lettuce. Spinach, again, still crazy. This is how all the extra seedlings are looking that I planted. Himalayan poppies. I think they need a bit of a bigger pot now, to be honest with you. Hollyhocks. I'll maybe just leave these guys for a little while longer just to make sure they're strong enough. Is that a passion flower seedling? I hope so. We've got one jalapeno and one cayenne. Well, I think that's a cayenne unless it's a little weed, but I'm really hoping that's a cayenne chili. As for these onions, I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. That's okay though. I'll figure something out. And these are the pumpkins. Look how much they've grown. This is crazy. These are the Crown Prince and these are the Atlantic Giants. I can't believe how much they've come on. Considering I planted these far too early to start with, lost them all by putting outside too early and lost them in the frost, replanted a few seeds about a month ago, and this is what they look like. Isn't that crazy? I've also got Brussels sprouts down here, so I'm going to plant these guys out today and fill up that end bed that's empty. So that's the greenhouse. Let's go on to the rest of the garden. Don't mind this bench. I'm planning to give that a good paint. In this tree I've put a whole heap of lights. So the lights on this tree are on a timer with the lights in the greenhouse and the lights along our fence. When it gets darker later, I'll try and get some footage of that for you guys. So it's a little bit later and a little bit darker. You guys are going to have to excuse all the dog hair on this plant, but this is the blackberry. There's a blackberry flower. I know it's covered with hair, the dogs walk past this all the time, but this plant is really coming to life, so hopefully we'll get blackberries this year. Little update on the red currants. I think there's a few in there that are starting to go red. I'm not quite sure what happened to these guys. Are they going red in there? That's exciting. Can't wait to get some red currants. I've also popped the hanging baskets up here. I'm waiting to see how they get on. Blueberry down here. Is that a blueberry? Shiraz Monge too. Got one little flower on there. At the other side of the archway, we've got the marrow peas. I've got loads of peas on this guy now. Lots and lots of flowers. I've ended up putting bamboo supports in for the peas. I thought it would climb up on these guys. Yeah, the peas don't seem to really want to latch onto this, so bamboo it is. Apples are really starting to come on too. Oh, cannot wait to make cider with these. Pear tree. Now, I've ended up putting in a little bit of support for the pear tree. He just seemed to be really flopping over. He's got a little bit more support now. And I don't think I've gotten any pears this year, unfortunately. The French bean is finally climbing. Look at this. Hurrah! I put the support in for it, and that seems to have made the world of difference. Also, we've had a bit better, nicer weather, so that also could help. Had to pin back this bramble somewhere, but I'm pretty sure, oh, I'm not going to touch it because it's really spiky. I think that is the berry starting to form, and this was so good last year. I read the Christmas fox, and I don't have enough lights. Blackcurrants are looking good, we're just waiting for them to change colour, really. Just waiting for them to ripen. Onto the raised beds. Garlic in here and potatoes at the back. I pull my garlic and see what it's like. Oh, just pulled that garlic out. I mean, they're definitely getting there. The garlic's maybe just not quite ready yet. I'll maybe check that again in July or in a couple of weeks' time and see how it's getting on. I'll leave that to dry out and we will use that later. Yeah, anything that looks like it's going to flower I've been cutting off and help it keep growing. The potatoes. I need to remind myself next year, take up some soil, put the tatties in first, and as they grow, a lot more soil on top because they just seem to go crazy. Had some of them or the onions going to seed like this, so I'm going to continue taking off these tops. They're all looking okay, I think. They've got a good bit of time to go and grow. Beetroot, yeah. I haven't thinned this, so this is not great. I don't recommend doing this. Try to remember to thin out before it kind of ends up looking like this. Here's the courgettes, they are really starting to come to life. I am beyond excited. My first courgette flower of the year! Yay! There's another one down there. In fact, we seem to have lots of courgettes. Oh, this is so exciting. Love courgettes. And I shall be making courgette chutney again this year. It was a massive hit with friends and family. So hopefully we'll get lots of courgettes again this year. They are looking really good. Really pleased. Oh, and hurrah. So we've got carrots, parsnips, rogue tatties. So I'm going to go and plant the pumpkin and the Brussels sprouts in here. Look at the carrots. Carrots are finally starting to come through. So all is not lost. So I'm going to leave this protector box on them just to give them a little bit more protection. As for the parsnips, I think that might be a carrot seedling. I'm not sure if that's a parsnip. A few little things in here, or is it just weeds? I don't know. We're going to have to wait to find out. Now, onto the flowers. These are all the flower boxes. I have just taken a little cutting of this plant, popped it in there. I don't know if it's going to be okay or not in there, but we'll leave it and water it and hope for the best. Onto the bottom of the garden where the flowers are. This has just come to life. Oh, it's beautiful. I don't even know what it's called. That's terrible, isn't it? Oh, and I can see snails. You guys are the bane of my life. As long as you're eating the flowers and you're not eating my veg, I don't care. You can live there. The hydrangea is looking alright. Should flower at some point. Christmas tree is sprouting okay. And I can't remember what this is either. That's terrible. Is there a label that goes with this? This is why you should label all your plants. Onto this bottom planted here. So the last time I spoke to you guys, I had used cable ties for my sunflowers. Turns out they really don't like it, and it kind of sort of wore away at the plant stock. So I've snipped off the cable ties, and I'm just trying to use little bits of broken bamboo just to hold them in place, and use another bamboo kit at the top just to wrap the sunflower around, and he seems a lot happier now. I didn't get to this one in time and he's died. Sunflowers that seem to be happiest are the ones that have kind of wrapped around the bamboo. But yeah, I think they're pretty good and they're quite sheltered there, so hopefully they'll be alright. I don't know what to say about that guy. We're just going to ignore that, okay? Let's just concentrate on the one that is good. I think all the rest of the plants seem to be doing okay in here. This is the darkest part of the garden, so it is a little bit of an experiment for me just to see what will actually grow in here and hopefully will grow again next year. I think this might be borage. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see when it flowers. He's been a bit rogue in the garden this year. The new gala apple tree seems to be doing fine. And look at the rhubarb. Check out how much new growth is on the rhubarb after cutting off that flower. There is so much new growth on the rhubarb. I'm so pleased with that. Oh, I suppose finally the grass. I'd forgotten about that. So this is how the grass is looking now. Pelle's is over there chilling out, living his best life. Okay, right, let's get honest for a minute. The grass is patchy as hell still. I gave it a really good cut yesterday, and yes, I did cut around the fire pit and all around the edges with some kitchen scissors because, well, I don't really have an excuse for it, I just did it. It is still really patchy, so I've come to the conclusion it doesn't matter because it's grass. It may as well be enjoyed, and the dogs have been rolling on it. Yeah, if there's going to be some weeds in the grass, who cares? It's fine. But I really don't care because the dogs enjoy it. That's also why. That would explain a lot of why the grass isn't great. So I've gone ahead, popped in the Brussels sprouts in here. Up at the back of this raised bed, I've just popped in the pumpkins here and up here. So we've got a giant Atlantic up here and a crown prince down here. Left both the rogue potatoes. I've given them a really good water in. So we will leave these guys and hopefully they'll be alright. I did pop in all the seedlings of the pumpkin because if I don't plant them now, there's no way we're going to have pumpkins for Halloween. That's how the raised beds are all looking now. If you've enjoyed this garden update, leave a like and leave a little comment and let me know what's happening in your garden, especially if you're in Scotland, because it would be great to know how other Scottish gardeners are getting on, especially because we're usually about 2 weeks behind everyone else in the UK at least. Subscribing is optional, but it is very much appreciated, and you can keep up to date with what happens in the garden. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! shall close up the greenhouse for another day. So it's a little later and I thought I'd come back outside and show you the lights